Inside Mason Pavilion, Sohan Jin tells his masters Dogma, who is also one of the four great fiends, and his twin brother Iseon, that he is going to return to his clan of sword dancers. He has been training for 10 years under both of his masters, and Dogma is curious to know why he wants to return to the sword dancers, because the dark faction was after the clan and chances of their survival are pretty low. Sohan Jin tells his master that the clan took him in when he was an orphan, and they took care of him for 14 years. He is going to return to the clan to repay their favor in full by taking revenge for them. Dogma reminds Sohan Jin that his martial prowess is not completed yet, and taking revenge can be a bit hard for him. Dogma gifts Sohan with dual crescent that Dogma used to wield. His brother Iseon gifts Sohan with his white shan. Before Sohan could leave, his masters give him last piece of advice that the martial world is a dangerous place, and even the strongest person can fall at any given moment. After listening to their advice, Sohan bids farewell to them. Sohan reaches the city of Sohokro in the middle of the night. He stops outside House of Moonlight where the dancer clan was used to be. Standing in front of the House of Moonlight brings back memories of when he and other clan members used to play there. He wonders where everyone went, and the geography of the surroundings have also changed a lot. The only place which looks unchanged is the Roster Inn. Sohan goes inside the inn to gather information. After entering the inn, he realizes that the interior of the Roster Inn has not changed as well. Everyone present inside looks at him with suspicion, but he ignores them and sits on an empty table. Sohan recognizes the waiter as Dogon, but Dogon can't recognize him. Sohan orders 1 chicken head noodles, and Dogon goes to the kitchen to prepare it. In the distance, some martial artists ask Sohan that he is wearing black sheaths and black clothes. Everyone around that area already knows that wearing black is a symbol of hostility. Sohan asks for forgiveness as he had no idea about the ban on black color. The leader of the martial artists asks Sohan why he came to this town, to which Sohan replies that he used to live in this town, just across the inn, where House of Moonlight is right now. The leader thinks that he is from the Moonlight Brothel, but Sohan further elaborates and tells him that there used to be a sword dancer clan where a current brothel is situated. He further invites the leader of martial artists to his table and treats him to wine, to which the leader agrees. Sohan asks the leader about what happened to the sword dancers. It turns out that 10 years ago, the Ashblood clan took an interest in the sword dancers clan. The sword dancers fiercely resisted their advances, but the Blood Ash clan created a false pretext to attack them. They poisoned one of their own men and blamed the sword dancers clan for his death. That's how an all-out war began, and the sword dancers succumbed to their attack. The leader of the Ashblood clan took the women he had his eyes on to his stronghold, and it's hard to tell even if they are alive right now. The leader is a bit afraid of Sohan and tries to slip away, but Sohan asks him if he is also part of the Ashblood clan. The leader replies neither him nor his companions have any kind of affiliation with Ashblood clan. The leader is about to leave, but one of his idiot underling, Jae-Kwang, who cannot read the atmosphere, spills the beans that he and his friends caught one of the members of the Sword Dancers clan, Du-Yang, during the conflict. Sohan remembers that Du-Yang was a good sister of his. Sohan kills 2 of the sidekicks of the leader with chopsticks. He kills the leader of the martial artists by throwing the sword at him, which goes right through the leader's chest. Sohan now thinks that the Dark Faction is to blame for everything. When Hogan returns from the kitchen, he finds 3 dead bodies. He's amazed by the skills of Sohan. Sohan tells Hogan that they used to play together as kids, and Hogan remembers him as Dopey, which was his name at the Sword Dancers clan. Sohan tells Dopey that he was kidnapped by 2 masters who were amazed that their poison had no effect on him, and he was training under them till now. Hogan tells Sohan that the Sword Dancer clan looked for him everywhere after he went missing until the day they were destroyed. Sohan bids farewell to Hogan after tipping him a silver nyang. Sohan heads in the direction of the House of Moonlight. He starts heading towards where the current leader of the house is, but he is stopped by Sahyuk, the head of the mercenaries of the House of Moonlight. After hearing the ruckus, the leader invites Sohan to meet him. After sitting down in the room of the leader, everyone is asked to drink some wine. The wine which Sohan drank had poison in it, and he knows about it. He asks the leader why he poisoned his wine, to which the leader replies that he will give him an antidote if their conversation goes well. Sohan gets pissed and uses his master's fan to poison the leader of Moonlight House and knock out all of his henchmen. The leader of Moonlight House is confused on how he got poisoned. While Sohan is talking to the leader of the house, Sahyuk tries to attack Sohan, but he gets pushed back without any effort from Sohan. The leader of the house seizes this opportunity to attack Sohan, but Sohan cuts him in half with one strike. Sohan is pissed at Sahyuk, but he spares his life and gives him a blue poison pill. Sahyuk swallows it in an instant because he knew he will be dead if he didn't cooperate with Sohan. Sohan inquires about the keys to the treasury from Sahyuk. Inside the treasury, Sohan finds 4 100-year-old ginsengs and consumes them. He orders Sahyuk to address him as clan leader and tells him to let anyone leave if they want to, and give them 20-fold of the money from their usual salary as a farewell gift. The next day, everyone is packing to leave for their homes. Sahyuk reminds Sohan that he has given them money as he was ordered, but he fears that someone from these workers will report what happened here to the Ashblood clan. Sohan is not worried about that, but Sahyuk reminds him that Ashblood clan is quite large, and they have 4 brothels and 3 legions under their control. They even control 2 merchant syndicates and transport cartels. They have an ability to mobilize hundreds of men. Sohan is confident that he can simply win by killing their leader, just like he killed the leader of the Moonlight House. Sohan also tells Sahyuk that he can leave, but Sahyuk is afraid that he will die without the antidote of the blue pill. Sohan pulls out a small box with blue pills, and without thinking much, Sahyuk quickly swallows one. Sohan is shocked because the blue pill he gave Sahyuk before wasn't real, but this one is. Sahyuk breaks down and sits with Sohan to drink wine without his permission because he knows he's gonna die either by sword or poison. Meanwhile, in the Blood Ash clan, someone reports about the loss of the Moonlight Pavilion to the warlord of Blood Ash clan. The leader of the Northern Wind Legion, Gildo Jung, asks for permission from the warlord to destroy the new guy who took over the House of Moonlight. The warlord agrees, and Gildo Jung seems to be very happy with his decision. Sohan is strolling in the market with Sahyuk. They spot the Wind Legion heading towards the Moonlight House. Sohan heads back to the Moonlight House to receive his new guests. After arriving at the House of Moonlight, Gildo Jung orders his men to search the Moonlight House. They couldn't find Sohan anywhere and think that Sohan left Moonlight House in a hurry without taking any money because he was afraid of Ashblood clan. They were all happy because House of Moonlight now belongs to them. Meanwhile, Sohan steps inside the House of Moonlight and asks Sahyuk to lock the door behind him. After Sahyuk locks the door, Gildo Jung becomes furious and orders his men to get rid of Sohan. All of them start rushing towards Sohan. The first minion plunges towards Sohan and tries to strike him head-on with his sword. Sohan breaks the arm of the first attacker and strikes him with his hand, which leaves a handprint on the rib cage of the attacker, sending him flying towards the wall. He breaks the hands or legs of some of the other henchmen with just one strike. Other remaining minions of Gildo Jung try to charge Sohan together, but their resistance is futile, because Sohan uses a single technique to blast every single one of them. Sahyuk and Gildo Jung are both amazed by Sohan's prowess, because Sohan hasn't even used any of his weapons yet. Gildo Jung becomes afraid after witnessing the power of Sohan. He tries to get away after making some excuses, but Sohan is not a naive kid. Gildo Jung now knows that he has to put his life on the line because he can't get out of this mess. Gildo Jung starts charging towards Sohan and throws one of his unconscious minions towards Sohan. Sohan blows the unconscious minion back at Gildo Jung with his hand, sending Gildo Jung into the wall. Sohan jumps towards Gildo Jung and finishes him off with just a single powerful kick. After seeing how powerful Sohan is, every single man in the room becomes amazed. After the death of Gildo Jung, the fighting stopped and the House of Moonlight is now a bloody mess. All of Gildo Jung's remaining lackeys are scared. Sohan orders Sahyuk to open the door and let survivors go back. He also passes on a message that if the warlord of Blood Ash clan wants to get rid of him, he has to come in person. After that, Sohan sits down drinking wine. The attitude of Sahyuk has also changed because he has witnessed the martial prowess of Sohan firsthand. Sohan tells Sahyuk to hide somewhere because once the whole Ashblood clan comes to take revenge, he cannot guarantee his safety. The warlord of Blood Ash clan is pissed after hearing the defeat of Gildo Jung. He orders his henchmen to gather up all men who can hold up a weapon, and they are also gonna behead the survivors of Gildo Jung's unit. This will serve as an example to everyone. Next night, the whole Ashblood clan is assembled outside the House of Moonlight, and Sohan wears a red robe, which sword dancers used to wear during their performances. He wants the Ashblood clan members to know that they are gonna get slaughtered because they messed with the sword dancers clan. He asks Sohyuk to stay inside because he will be a nuisance to him. He goes outside, where the leader of the Ashblood clan recognizes him by his childhood name, Dopey. Sohan confirms that he is the Dopey of the Sword Dancers clan and he is back for revenge. Sohan gets a flashback of his childhood. He remembers that his sisters took really good care of him and taught him sword dancer techniques. He becomes furious and lunges at the center of the Ashblood clan members and starts massacring them with the crescent blades he received as gifts from his master. Sohan killed a lot of members of the Ashblood clan, but there are still a few hundred alive. They try to overwhelm him with their numbers, but it is of no use because Sohan easily kills every single person who attacks him. The warlord of Ashblood clan is a cunning man. He knows that Sohan is quite powerful and he's only using techniques from the Sword Dancers clan to finish his minions. Soon, Sohyuk, who is watching from the window, thinks the way Sohan is killing his opponents is elegant. Sohyuk and the warlord of Blood Ash clan both realize at the same time that Sohan is using poison at the same time. Ashblood clan members start dropping off like flies, either by poison or by Sohan's swords. The warlord of Ashblood clan is afraid that Dopey of Sword Dancers clan has returned as a demon. Sohan gives a chance to all members of the Ashblood clan to step aside if they want to live, and he only wants the head of the warlord of Blood Ash clan. Everyone steps aside to give way to Sohan. The warlord of Ashblood clan starts offering money and other luxuries to Sohan, but Sohan walks up to him and tells him to stop talking bullshit. Sohan is about to kill warlord of Ashblood clan, but he tells Sohan that he knows about the whereabouts of the remaining Sword Dancer clan members. Sohan hesitates a bit and warlord uses this chance to sneak attack Sohan. Sohan dodges it very easily and gets behind the warlord. He tells the warlord that he knew that the warlord is a scum and he will use underhanded methods. Sohan attacks the warlord using his swords, but the warlord manages to deflect them. Even though warlord deflected Sohan attacks, he still got poisoned somehow. Warlord orders his elite members to attack Sohan, and they start attacking him together in unison. Sohan seems to be struggling against the elite members of the Ashblood clan. He cannot attack them and only manages to deflect their attacks. This gives the warlord confidence, and he tells Sohan that they prepared expensive poison counters and Sohan cannot harm them now. Sohan is not faltered by this and uses a single strong poisonous wave which successfully poisons the warlord and his elite members in an instant. Sohan tells the warlord that the antidotes they took cannot save them from the poison of his masters. Sohan finishes off all the elite members of the Ashblood clan. The warlord becomes really afraid and starts offering many benefits to Sohan if he leaves him alive. But Sohan sees this last-ditch effort of the warlord to save his life as disgusting, which breaks the warlord from inside, and he starts telling the truth that he killed every single member of the Sword Dancers clan after he got tired of them. Sohan becomes furious and chops the warlord into many pieces. Now that the warlord is dead and his revenge completed, Sohan asks the remaining members to step forward if they want revenge for their leader, but no one steps forward. Sohyuk is amazed after witnessing the end of the Ashblood clan. Now that Sohan has taken his revenge, he is ready to move on to the next phase of his journey. Next morning, Sohan ordered Sohyuk to change the Board of House of the Moonlight to the House of the New Moon. Sohyuk has also spread the word that House of the New Moon summons anyone who either knows or have met a member of the Sword Dancers clan. Sohan remembers that the leader of the Ashblood clan said that he killed every single member of the Sword Dancer clan, but there must be some members who were not present during the conflict. Sohyuk informs Sohan that everyone in Sohukro is glad that he took care of Ashblood clan. They are also giving him praise because the Ashblood clan did a lot of bad things in Sohukro. Sohan reminds Sohyuk that he is also a part of the Ashblood clan and he must also have done bad things. Sohyuk becomes ashamed after hearing it, and Sohan warns him to live virtuously from now on, and Sohyuk says that he will repent on his past mistakes. Sohan is glad that his revenge also freed many people from the tyranny of the Ashblood clan. Sohyuk informs Sohan that the heir of the West Gold Transit Cartel wants to meet him. Previously, their transit cartel was stolen by Ashblood clan, and they were laying low until Sohan took over Ashblood clan. Now they have come forward to express their gratitude. Sohan orders Sohyuk to look into this matter and return everything Ashblood clan took. Sohyuk now knows that Sohan is an upright man and he doesn't want any of the Ashblood clan's riches for himself. Dogon from the Rooster Inn arrives to meet Sohan. Sohan asks him about his father's health and he tells Sohan that his father makes excuses and stays at home so he doesn't have to do any work. Sohan tells Dogon to work for him as the head cook of the new House of Moon, but Dogon is a bit hesitant because he thinks working in the House of Moon can be dangerous for him, because he thinks even if Sohan doesn't start a fight, the neighboring powers will not leave him alone. Sohan tells him not to worry and is quite confident about his ability because he learned from one of the 4 great fiends. The Dark faction respectfully calls them the Noble Princes and the Light faction considers them the greatest threat to humanity. Dogon becomes a bit afraid after hearing it. He tells Sohan that he is glad that he is alive. He further warns him to be careful because other dark factions are gonna try to conquer Sohokro. Sohan asks if there are any notable sects he needs to be wary of. Dogon tells him in north of Sohokro there is a Northern Wolf Blades and in the south Great Dragon Sect. Both of these sects are quite formidable and they are around the level of the Ashblood clan. Dogon asks what will happen if both of these clans make an alliance to take down Sohan, and Sohan replies that he is not the one who should be afraid of them. After that, Dogon's mood lightens up a bit and they both continue drinking. General Ji Nang reports about the events that happened in Sohokro to the leader of the Great Dragon Sect, Ha Song-im, but they are not aware of the exact identity of the guy who killed the leader of the Ashblood clan. General Ji Nang suggests that Sohokro is now free for the taking and they should send Shadowless Rogue Assassin. He also suggests that they should send a female assassin in as well, because he heard that the killer of the Ashblood clan warlord is a young man. Next morning, Sohyuk arrives with the fighters of the Kwido clan. They were his comrades and were merged into the Bloodrush clan. Sohan looks at them and tells Sohyuk that he can do as he wishes and the fighters leave after thanking him. Sohan inquires about the matter of the West Gold Transit cartel and Sohyuk replies that he took care of it. He further informs Sohan that he placed poison and medicine in one room and money in another, just like he ordered. The books and document they brought back from Ashblood clan are also stored separately. Sohan informs Sohyuk that from now on he will be using 3 whole floors and he needs Sohyuk to stop anyone from entering the rooms which Sohan is using. Sohyuk is a bit taken aback and he asks why he needs to stop everyone from going into his room. Sohan replies that it will be unfortunate if someone enters his room and dies after coughing blood. Sohyuk tells Sohan that he needs guards in case neighboring clans plan an assassination. Sohan tells him that he will use the guards that Sohyuk recommended. Sohan goes to the training grounds to test the skills of the new guards. Sohan tells the guards to not hold back against them, and one of them steps forward to spar with Sohan. The guard plunges towards Sohan and tries to do a stab attack, but Sohan easily changes the trajectory of his sword. Sohan breaks the sword of the guard and hits him in the side of the head with the handle of his sword, which knocks him out. Other guards become shocked after watching it. Sohan asks the next guard to step up, but no one dares to fight him. Sohan asks Sohyuk to fight him and he hesitantly agrees. After some time, Sohyuk and the other guards are defeated by Sohan and he tells them that they are going to have some sparring sessions every morning. Sohyuk tells Sohan that they will die at this rate and Sohan replies that they don't need to worry about it because he will give all of them elixir that he picked up from the black market, which will quickly heal their injuries. He further tells Sohyuk that mostly dark faction martial artists don't live longer than 30 years, and Sohyuk in his current situation isn't even gonna make it to 30 years. Sohyuk agrees with Sohan and tells him that he will follow Sohan's teachings. While Sohan is strolling in the market, he is confronted by 2 shady men. The man with the sword tells Sohan that they are sent by the Northwind Wolfblades and their leader sent a gift for Sohan. One of the guys presents Sohan with a letter. In the letter, it is written that the leader of the Wolfblades wants to form an alliance with Sohan. After that, the short guy takes out a packet and tells Sohan that there are 100,000 Nyangs in it. A snake rushes out of the packet and bites Sohan. Both assassins are happy after watching it, but Sohan's face doesn't show any signs of worry. The assassin with the sword tells Sohan that he knows Sohan has some knowledge of poison. That's why he used the Blue Viper's venom, and he will only give the antidote to Sohan if he accompanies them quietly. Sohan simply grabs the snake and squeezes the life out of it. He tells the assassins to get lost, and the short guy tries to attack Sohan with a kunai, but he easily manages to dodge it. The assassin with the sword launches a sword wave attack, but Sohan easily deflects it with his dual crescents. The short guy throws 2 kunais at Sohan, and Sohan deflects them both in one strike. Both assassins keep attacking Sohan in synchronization, but he manages to deflect their attacks. Both of them get back to wait for the poison to kick in, and Sohan tells them that he knows they they were not sent by Northwind Wolfblades. The small guy gets pissed and throws a smoke ball. After smoke fills the area, he starts running towards Sohan. He tries to sneak up on Sohan from behind, but Sohan is able to kill him without much trouble. When the smoke dissipates, the sword assassin can see that Sohan got rid of his teammate. Sohan again asks him about the identity of the guys who sent them, but the sword assassin is too much shocked by the current events. The sword assassin comes to realization that they were baited by the shadowless rogue to gauge the abilities of Sohan. Sohan tells him that he was fooled by whoever sent him. The sword assassin becomes enraged and rushes towards him. Sohan easily deflects his attack and cuts off one of his arms. Sohan tells the assassin that he is well versed in medicine and he can easily save him if he spills the beans. The sword guy easily gets persuaded and tells Sohan that he was sent by shadowless assassin rogue. Sohan finishes him off right after he got the information. Sohan knows that they must be watching him right now from somewhere to gauge his abilities, but he is not bothered by them, and thinks of them as mere vermins. Shadowless Rogue was watching the whole battle from afar and thinks that Sohan is a heartless bastard because he killed the assassin right after he promised him mercy. Sohan tells Sohyuk that someone sent assassins after him, but he took care of some of them. He wants to know of a way to easily summon the leaders of the Wolfblades and the Great Dragon Sect. Sohyuk informs him that in the past, there used to be a Warlords meeting which was held once a year, but this meeting doesn't happen anymore. Sohyuk suggests that they should host a Warlords meeting. Sohan agrees and Sohyuk starts preparation for it. Dogon comes in with food and wine. All three of them enjoy it till night and Shadowless Rogue seems to be watching them through the window. He gets pissed because he knows that Sohan has an idea about his existence, but he is still so much carefree. Rogue decides to finish off Sohan tonight. Sohan goes to the training field with Dogon. He's going to perform a sword dance for Dogon, which he promised him the first time they met in Rooster Inn. Sohan starts performing his techniques and sees an afterimage of one of his sisters who vanishes away after congratulating him. Dogon goes back in because it is chilly outside, but Sohan stays on the field. Shadowless Rogue, watching from a rooftop, thinks that Sohan is being so carefree that he is begging to be killed. Shadowless Rogue throws a kunai at Sohan, but he easily dodges them by leaping back. Rogue brings out a snake-shaped cane and uses Blade Barrage technique to throw knives at Sohan, but Sohan uses White Gale with his shot to deflect all of them, and they drop on the ground in front of the Rogue. After seeing it, Rogue is shocked and thinks that Sohan might be stronger than him. Sohan thinks of him as a mere vermin, which pisses him off and he starts attacking Sohan fiercely. Sohan is just standing in one place blocking all of his attacks, and the difference between their inner power is too great. Shadowless Rogue starts coughing up blood, but he knows he's gonna die the moment he stops attacking. He attacks with all of his inner force, but Sohan successfully blocks it. Sohan has seen enough and attacks the Shadowless Rogue with his White Shan, sending him flying back. Shadowless Rogue now has an idea that Sohan is just toying with him. Rogue offers Sohan information in exchange for his life, but Sohan says it's too late for that. Rogue gets down on his knees and begs for his life. He even agrees to be the loyal dog of Sohan for the rest of his life. Sohan replies that he is not in need of a dog like him. Rogue starts spilling the beans. He tells Sohan that he was sent by the Hasong Im of the Great Dragon Sect and they hired him for 10,000 yang. He was going to receive another 5,000 yang if he had managed to injure Sohan and another additional 10,000 yang if he managed to kill him. Sohan feels mercy for the rogue and gives him a sword so he can end his own life with dignity. He stabs himself with a blade and dies on the spot. General Ji Nang reports to Warlord Ha Song that Shadowless Rogue has been killed by Sohan, and the Red Lotus female assassin returned them the commission because she saw people from House of the New Moon burying the dead body of the rogue assassin. After examining the body, she found out that his death was self-inflicted. General Ji Nang thinks Sohan can be a threat to them and asks Ha Song to hold meeting of the warlords so they can form a temporary alliance with other warlords and eliminate Sohan. Ha Song agrees and General Ji Nang goes his way. A woman named Myo-ah appears from behind Ha Song. She seems to know another woman who used to be a sword dancer, but Yoma took her away to make her into a disciple. Ha Song remembers that Yoma is a powerful martial artist and it will be impossible to retrieve the sword dancer girl from her. Sohan receives a letter from Hasong Im of the Great Dragon Sect about the Warlords meeting, and he suggested that the meeting should take place in the House of the New Moon. 10 people can participate from each sect. Sohyuk is skeptical about it because the first leader who hosted it in the past ended up dead, and dark factions are famous for their rivalry. Sohan tells Sohyuk that this is the reason why most martial artists from dark factions hardly make up to 30 years without dying. Sohyuk reminds Sohan that he may not be an exception in this regard. Sohan tells Sohyuk to run away if he ever faces an enemy he cannot beat. Sohyuk asks what if escape is not an option. Sohan replies that he should fight with the intention to rip his enemy apart with his bare hands. So-hyuk takes Sohan's advice to heart. Sohan assembles all the guards in the room. He pours them wine and tells them that the warlord meeting is going to happen the next day. All faction will come pouring in order to take over Sohokro. He tells them that the major battle will be decided between the warlords. He wants all 6 of them to do their best to survive, and he will take care of the rest by himself. Everyone agrees in unison and drank their wine. The next morning, Great Dragon Sect, Northwind Wolfblades, Five Poison Clan, Shadow Clan, and Fleeting Dragon Clan are outside the House of the New Moon. Each of them can only bring along 10 members of their sect inside the House of the New Moon. Warlord of the Five Poison Clan takes the lead and they head inside. They are greeted by So-hyuk at the entrance. He tells them that their seats have been arranged on the second floor. However, there are only 6 seats available on the second floor, which means only leaders can attend the meeting and their followers have to wait outside. So-hyuk guides them to the meeting room, but some of the warlords feel a bit disrespectful because Sohan was not waiting for them in the meeting room. So-hyuk goes to get Sohan. Warlord of the Five Poison Clan seems to be cheerful, but he is the most pissed about it from the inside. Sohan appears in the room and introduces himself. All warlords think that Sohan is quite young and he is looking down on them. Warlord of the Five Poison Clan congrats Sohan on killing the warlord of the Ashblood Clan and taking over Sohokro. But Sohan asks him about his true intentions. It turns out Ashblood Clan was responsible for providing daily lilies to many regions and Five Poison Clan was his biggest buyer. Thanks to Sohan, the transport of daily lilies has stopped. Ashblood Clan was also the major buyer of poison drugs from the Five Poison Clan. Sohan realizes that the counter-poison warlord of Ashblood Clan and his underlings must have come from the Five Poison Clans. Sohan asks the leader of Five Poison Clan about his true intentions. Five Poison Clan leader tells him that they are all business partners and he wants to resume the production and supply of daily lilies in Sohokro. Sohan tells him that it's just an excuse and Five Poison Clan warlord just wants to take over part of Sohokro. Shadow Clan leader tells Sohan to be respectful to every other warlord. Sohan tells them that all of this is pointless for dark factions to sit around and bicker, so they should just cut to the chase. Everyone becomes alerted, but none of them is willing to make a move, so Sohan gave them 2 options. They can either duel him one at a time, or they can come at him all together. Warlord Jin of the Northwind Wolfblade sect asks about the difference between these 2 options. Sohan replies that if they fight him one-on-one, it will be considered a duel between martial artists and according to the Dark Faction laws. The loser has to serve the winner for their whole life. Warlord Jin asks what will happen if they all attack him together. Sohan tells him that in that case he will kill them all and he prefers this option. All warlords became a bit afraid after hearing it. Warlord Jin challenges Sohan to a duel. Once the duel starts, Warlord Jin uses his big blade to deal a critical strike to Sohan, but he easily blocks it. Sohan also retaliates using his crescent blades, but Warlord Jin somehow barely manages to block his attacks. After a few strikes, Warlord Jin realizes that Sohan is a better fighter than him, and he is barely blocking his attacks. Warlord Jin makes an opening so he can use a powerful technique on Sohan, but Five Poison Clan Warlord and the Warlord of Shadow Clan take this opportunity to deal critical damage to Sohan. Warlord Jin used Blade of the Wind Spirit technique. Shadow Clan Warlord uses Dark Thread swordsmanship, while Five Poison Clan uses Five Poison Shot technique. Sohan knocks back Warlord Jin with 1 strike. He cuts the Warlord of the Shadow Clan into 2 halves with 1 powerful strike. Five Poison Clan leader manages to land a hit on Sohan with his poisonous technique. Warlord of Five Poison Clan is happy now that he's poisoned Sohan, but Sohan ignores him and asks the other 2 remaining warlords to quickly make up their decision. Both warlords have good observation, so they know that Sohan is showing weakness by getting hit by poison on purpose. He is actually testing them. Fleeting Falcon Warlord gets on his knees and pledges his alliance to Sohan. Hasong also follows suit and pledges alliance to Sohan. He also admits that he was the one who sent the assassins and he is ready to receive whatever punishment Sohan suggests. Warlord Jin accepts his defeat as well and agrees to serve under him. Sohan instructs the 3 warlords under him to kill the leader of the Five Poison Clan, and they agree. Leader of the Five Poison Clan is in shock after watching this turn of events. Five Poison Warlord tries to convince them by saying that Sohan is poisoned, but Hasong knows that Sohan is not affected by the poison in any way. Hasong knows that he needs to contribute the most in the death of the Five Poison Clan Warlord, or he's going to receive a very strict punishment from Sohan. Hasong uses Parting Blade of the Great Dragon technique to cut off one of the arms of the Five Poison Clan Warlord. Other 2 warlords stab him and their swords, and Hasong finishes him off by cutting his head with 1 strike. Hasong reports that the task is completed. Sohan says that Hasong was the one who was supposed to die during this meeting of the warlords, and he knew the reason for that. Hasong gets down on his knees and begs for his transgressions. Sohan forgives him for now by saying he will keep an eye on him. He tells Jin and the leader of the Fleeting Falcon to withdraw their troops and they are going to have a drink together. He tells Hasong to get up and join them, to which Hasong happily obliges. All three warlords get knocked out after inhaling some minor poison. Sohan is wondering whether to kill them here or let them serve under him. He decides to spare their lives for now. All three of them wake up and realize that Sohan can take their lives whenever he wants. Hasong tells Sohan that a low-level informant told him that one of the four great fiends, Yoma, took away one of the sword dancer girls to make her into her disciple. Sohan asks Hasong whether he is lying Sohan into fighting the Yoma, to which Hasong replies that he is telling the truth. Sohan asks about the location of the Yoma. Warlord Jin tells him that there is a rumor that she was seen somewhere in Jiang'an, Dark Faction, and they should be able to find her in no time. Hasong says he will order his troops to find her location. Sohan remembers that the great Yoma only takes beautiful female disciples, and she brutally murders them once they lose their virginity. Yoma also has a mysterious and convoluted personality. Sometimes she kills her disciples for being too much beautiful, and sometimes she kills them for being rude. Despite all of that, her strength is indisputable. That's why she's called the Great Yoma. He instructs the warlords that his new faction, Chonyang Dark, will stop referring her as Great. Sohan becomes furious and he needs to save this member of the Sword Dancers clan as soon as possible, because Yoma does not take in disciples to train them. Rather, she takes in those disciples to cultivate their inner power for a while before absorbing them herself to maintain her youth.